this episode was just fire. There's nothing else other than the fact that it was a fun, chaotic, beautifully animated episode. But I will split it into 3 sections because there's so much to go on about. So we'll have the Roy section, the Lye Batenkaitos section, and the Capella section. I think that Roy Alphard quite literally screwed over Julius, and this is only because it's the fact that he did mention things that Julius does not remember, because the thing is, he ate, or one of the gluttonies, for sure Roy, I believe it was Roy, ate Joshua's name and memory, so that means that he's basically comatose, as well as, well, like Rem. So not only does Julius not remember his brother, but the fact that Roy has the memories of Joshua, which allowed him to basically say that, hey, Ricardo, and obviously Ricardo like, what the hell? How do you know my name? Now, a lot of this happened before they started fighting, per se, in the books, from what I last read, but, I mean, the fight is still pretty damn good. Unfortunately for Julius, he kind of got the shit kicked out of him, and yeah, it kind of ends ambiguously, but I'll just say this, that entire team, like Ricardo and Julius, they got their shits kicked in, and if I were to say in terms of because we saw that Regulus was defeated and Sirius, unfortunately Roy was not defeated. I will say that much. Roy survives this fight, and unfortunately Julius and Ricardo had like the worst time here. Okay, now for Capella, like, my godly, at this point, seeing especially the rat scene, like, why do they gotta make it look damn good, the animation? But anyone who says that they can fix her, no, you fucking can't. She is so beyond the fucking yandere spectrum, I don't know. But let's get back to the main topic. Al versus Capella, pretty damn cool. And I do like the fact that Al does mention a few hints of his ability. I think most people will figure it out, and I'll kind of just give you a hint. Think of it as a bootleg Return by Death. I think that's the best way to do it. It's not exactly the same, but it functions similarly to it. And not only that, but the building collapsing, Capella obviously getting crushed and acting the way she acts. And then their conversation between Anastasia, Al, and Felix. Like, Felix mentioning that Anastasia using magic immediately alerted Al that something's wrong and that Anastasia is not, like, she's not acting who she is, which is hinting at something very important, which I don't know how I completely forgot about. But Anastasia isn't who she seems, because for the most part she isn't a fighter, and I don't remember what magic was used. I'd have to look back at the episode, but I know for sure that Anastasia doesn't usually, well, use magic at all, at least from what I'm aware of. She's more of a merchant. But yeah, that was an interesting little detail of Al immediately being hostile, and then eventually Felix kind of calming him down before Capella comes in, enjoying what's going on. Not only that, but she also makes a mention to Felix that even if they do kill her, like, that doesn't affect the dragon blood. Like, the dragon blood is one separate issue, and she is a completely different issue. So yeah, killing her is not necessarily the solution. So unfortunately, Cruz is just out of the story for now, just having to recover from the dragon blood. But outside of that, we have them being chased by every, like, demon beast. And there was a change I was noted here, and it's the fact that the original person who came in to save them was Priscilla in the books, and here it was Reinhard, which is an interesting thing. I found it pretty intriguing, though I think it makes sense because Reinhard went off to help the others, and it just so happens that here are the others. But if I'm not mistaken, the books had Priscilla come in to save everyone. But hey, you know what? It's fine. It fits thematically, because the big thing is Reinhard has not met Capella in the books at all. Like, they haven't actually interacted with each other or seen each other. So, I mean, it keeps with canon per se.
Okay, so I wanted to show this evidence a bit, so I'm cutting the video just a bit. So here's the book, volume 20. It's in actually chapter 3, page 108. It goes over Al, cutting down the beasts, everything very well. Horde of monsters, you know, all that fun stuff. And here we go. Right around there. Pitiful people who desire despair. You know, all that. The voice of a goddess rang. And just to show off the page, it's right here. Well, if it wants to look, there we go. The flame purified. You Persian. That is essentially, yeah. And then right before it's chapter 4, the stuff with Wilhelm. I just wanted to show evidence that it was on the books that Priscilla saved their skin and not Reinhard, which I mean, it's not a bad thing. So we shall place it. I'm gonna set this down for a second. There we go. Yeah, I thought I'd show this off. I got arc 6 and 7.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Hey, wait a minute, camera, stop it. You're gonna...
But overall, it was a pretty damn crazy animations, this one, especially Capella. God damn, like, they really went all out here. Editor's note here, I would like to also mention something about Reinhard's arrival, and it's the impact that when he arrives here to help Felix, it's obviously that he's there as a hero, as the sword saint, as his job to save others. But we clearly see that he is distraught because even deep down he knows that his relationship with his father and grandfather is completely destroyed at this point, which I think adds a layer to Reinhard that he does have emotions, but he would push those aside in order to fulfill his duty as the sword saint. So I wanted to also keep that in mind, because that's how I kind of saw when we see his face. Like, we don't even see his eyes, which is a bit of a hint that, yeah, Reinhard is not exactly at a good place either. Like, he'll do the job, but he's not exactly at the best he could be. So for Lye Batenkaitos section, unlike with Roy, that we definitely saw him use Lunar Eclipse, which is essentially use the ability of someone else, we see Lunar Eclipse as well, but we see Solar Eclipse, which essentially is using memories and becoming like that person. And I'll go into it a little bit later, but 3 big things happen. 1, Otto's group got mostly wrecked. Like, let's be real, the second Lye Batenkaitos started actually trying to fight back, like, that one stooge from Feldkamp got easily knocked down. Like, not knocked out, but knocked down for a bit. Dinas and his people were all, well, unfortunately eaten, both name and memory, so they're kind of gone. And we see that happen in, like, literally a second. How the second he licked the palm of that one poor person's hand, it was over for him. Like, he legit, everyone instantly forgot who that was, and were so confused at what was going on. A lot of this was literally Lye Batenkaitos showing that gluttony is no joke. And gluttony is a pretty interesting power, but a very dangerous one. And the fact that Roy was screwing with Julius, this one, I mean, Lye was screwing with everyone. And the only thing that I have to know for second is that Otto is a capable man. The dude actually was able to get underneath Lye's skin, because he was well prepared and figuring out things relatively quickly on how his abilities work. And that's what intrigued me a lot more of this. And yeah, even though he got overpowered by him and was about to be tortured before he was probably going to get eaten or killed, we have Beatrice come back into the limelight. And having her come back is awesome. She's been gone for quite a while, like majority of the season. But with her return, it triggers the REM memories to come in, and Lye Batenkaitos mocking them by using REMs. Already knowing Beatrice's name, even though Otto did try to correct himself to not say her name, even though there was a joke that no one knew Otto's name when he's like, oh, don't call me by my name. And it's like, yeah, we don't know who you are, bro. And everyone, that's a funny Otto thing to happen. But yeah, the second Lye Batenkaitos started acting and naming himself Rem, and he did make a Rui reference. That's important, but I'll go get to it till next episode. But the fact that we get an actual Rem moment per se definitely threw both Beatrice and Otto off to the point that they both not only instinctively hate Lye even more, which, by the way, Otto did an amazing thing. He blew up Lye, and that obviously showed the scars, and it's pretty interesting seeing that Lye is a fighter, and I mean, he's been scarred, like, dude's been fighting. But the biggest thing about it is that they know that Subaru must never encounter Lye Batenkaitos, because if he does, and Lye pulls this shit out, Subaru will be hurt in a way that, as Beatrice puts it, will be irreversible. Because Subaru's hatred will increase to the point where he will want to take Lye down, even though it's going to lead to so many deaths. Obviously, for us, we know deaths. For them, they know it's probably going to get Subaru killed. And yeah, that's how the episode ends. And I really like it. Like, the episode has a funny little ending of leaving it in a cliffhanger, only for it to be like, nah, we ain't done yet. So I gotta give commends for the episode, but my god, Lee, like, this was a lot more tougher of these groups. If Priscilla and Subaru's group were essentially the best of handling their situations, Garfield and Corgon basically being more or less the middle ground, as well as like with Taresia and stuff, this one was probably the harder groups that had like the harder parts to handle.